Good. Oh, good. Can you?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. So, after almost 2 weeks, Best Buy has fixed my desktop.
2 weeks. Wow.
2 weeks, I was working with the laptop.
Did they tell you what was wrong with it?
Some
It's just like,
some bugs were there. Let me say some. It has become almost now, yeah, 5 years.
oh, it's around that time, huh?
Yes, yeah, I need to sound. Hello. Yes. The desktop monitor gives me more space. Laptop, Brandy has written, oh, today I need not to give access. So there is some issue. Girish at girishjha.com, you put into your email contact. You create a contact. And then I think that is what sometime happens. So we are here. Am I consciousness? Yes, that is what we have to prove. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, it is coming. I have to just a minute. I got one error again. Now this is okay. So, our journey that am I consciousness? Eastern wisdom says yes, I'm pure consciousness of the nature of absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss. Do we need to remember? Yes, I need to remember that we have to prove that we are consciousness. So, when you asked a question, am I consciousness? Yes, no, no. It is yes, but I have to prove it. So, what the proving means? Realization, understanding, and awakening, proving by a method. What is that method? Method is Eastern wisdom. When I have to prove here and now, are you a man? Yes. Are you a woman? Yes. Are you a human being? Yes. You see that? The process in the intellect uh, instantly makes me realize That is what the realization is. Do I need to prove that the body is whole, will remain whole? No. We know whatever is changing cannot be whole. So the mind is no. So you see that how the process goes. So we need to prove that beyond body and the mind, there is a whole. And what is that whole? Is the real self. Why I want to prove it? Because I'm having an ignorance. What is that ignorance? I always claim that I'm the body and the mind. Do you see that? I always claim that, I'm stressed and I am not worthy of suffering. I have lot of problems. And this identification with the body and the mind has started since the birth. So if we claim and trying to prove the body mind complex is whole, we give it a different word. We say it is a delusion. So choiceless awareness means we are the real self. There is nothing that is changing. And what is changing is a delusion. What is changing is a delusion. Slowly, slowly, we are going little higher. What is changing is a delusion. One question arises in the mind that after I am awakened or reached to that state of realization, do I stop sleeping? Do I stop waking up? No, these are the characteristics and the nature of the body and the mind. They will continue to do it. Let it continue to do it. Do you see that? But the mind goes back again. It identifies with the body and the mind. And it says, you see that now I'm approaching the death. Come on, you are not the body and the mind. So how you can die? How you can die in that wholeness? And that wholeness is the what we say the pure consciousness, or you can say the choiceless awareness. That is the real meaning of living in a moment, living from a moment to moment. That moment is a continuity. That continuity is timelessness. But who recognizes the time? Body and the mind. That is why we have a Mangala Charan of whole. What is that? Om Kya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamadai Purnameva Vashishyate. For example, in this metaphor, that I'm the water, not the waves. Does the wave hidden in the water? But still the wave in the form of a storm, in the hurricane appears, destroys. Recently, we had a very serious in Florida. But does the essential nature of the water changes? No. To abide in that unchanging identity, which is already present here and now, leads to choiceless awareness and ultimately leads to that awakening. It means I need to prove that I am the real self. I am the real self. That is all. That is all. I have already given you, uh, you have to contemplate again and again. What I have given you. that acronym, WHOLE. So now we are going to prove. So we've already started the process. So let us go ahead. Uh, I have to claim that I'm a seeker first. Seeker of what? Seeker of the real self. But why? I know body and the mind is constantly changing, so I'm not seeking body and the mind. It can be proved easily. I recognize at all the time that I am a seeker. I told you many a times, once a seeker, always a seeker. In one line, I'm just completing. I'm seeking wealth. Then, after the wealth, I'm seeking some kind of a pleasure. One special pleasure is getting married or having attraction with the opposite sex. And after that, what I seek, maybe little bit of fame. Now we can achieve that fame in social media. I have 50,000 followers, etc., etc. You see that? And then, oh, I should be connected. I should be very well connected. How come? If I call Biden, oh, the Biden responds to me immediately. Well connected. But one thing is common in all these efforts, that is the happiness. Do you see that? One thing is common, that is happiness. So instead of getting into stress to earn a wealth, why don't you start with the happiness? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But from where that happiness comes, that is what I'm proving. Ananda. Do you see? Can't you smile while making an effort? Can't you smile while earning a money? Tell me. Can't you smile when you have challenges in the body? Don't you recognize it is still independent? It is still independent. That is the because it is independent, because it is unchanging. It is unchanging. So hence it is timeless. Also, it has no present, past, and the future. That consciousness is my nature. I am that consciousness. I am that consciousness. Where it goes, let us have a little deviation. So, why we are understanding? So, two goals, mainly two goals: end of suffering and awakening to peace and happiness. No, I awaken to peace and happiness eating pasta, but that is your temporary. That is temporary. So, two goals. So, when you end the suffering, now I live in choiceless awareness while performing my duties, personal, professional, social, family life. So, I'm extending that awakening into what is being done by the body and the mind at the personal level, at the family level, at the social level. Is that possible by eating pasta? Answer is no. What I have to do, I have to just remember I'm the real self. But I have to remember that real self in the state of purity of the mind. Otherwise, the impurity of the mind will drag me You're still suffering. You are awakened and you're still suffering. You're living in choiceless awareness and still your body has become old. Can you remain young after awakening? So I lose being the seeker. I lose being the seeker. An awakened guy, Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or other great masters, they have come and gone. Means their body and the mind has come and gone. So I'm searching, after all, is there anything? Is there anything? After I awake and sleep and dream, then wake up, then sleep and dream. Is there anything? And our master says, yes, there is. That Satchidanand is there. We have already done those few verses where we understand. So there is some entity which we say consciousness is ever present without change in sleep, dream, and waking state. So it means my intellect, common sense approach, my intellect should reach to an experience, cognition, or realization or understanding that we are of the nature of happiness. This nature is essential. What I said, this nature is not essential. It is essential. It is not non essential. There is a non essential part that is body and the mind, my behavior and attitude, and still that essential part of happiness remains with me all the time. All the time. So now come to the verse. The verse number 11 says, so it means there is some, I experience that happiness by eating pasta, by having a sexual pleasure, by earning more money, by having the possessions, by getting married or getting divorced. All these activities, there is some kind of a happiness. It is not fully known. So if it is not fully known, but there is some happiness. But when, if it is fully known to me, will you have any desire for seeking happiness outside? Answer is no. But if we are not a seeker at the higher order, we recognize and we claim and we question. Or even the awakened eats the food. Why they eat the food? Because they are hunger. Hunger and the happiness are two. I'm eating for happiness. I'm eating for. So one delusion created by my own mind has to be dropped. But there is another delusion created by the nature has to continue. What is that delusion by the nature? Waking, sleep, dream, eating, sleep, eating, working. All this has to continue. Have you seen any awakened or realized guy who doesn't go to the washroom? Who doesn't eat? So people have created created a mess around this understanding that if I'm not eating for 20 days, then I'm a great awakened person. It has nothing to do with awakening. No, I can walk on the fire, then I'm awakened. Do you see that? So now question comes that, yes, I know the happiness, but why that permanent state of the happiness is still unknown to me? I'm proving I'm pure consciousness of the nature of existence, consciousness and bliss. So now we are going little deeper. So yes, it is unknown, but I have to find out why it is unknown. Why it is unknown? So you collect 10 events, 10 actions, 10 possessions by which you get happiness. Happiness eating pasta, going for the sexual pleasure, earning money, driving a car, wearing the dress, trimming your or shaving your uh, shaving your face, or putting lot of stuff on the body. It all gives me uniform happiness. But if it gives me uniform happiness, where is the happiness, Because I feel I always get happiness by eating pasta, by getting more money, by driving a car, and etc. etc. Oh, so Master says, oh, that happiness hides. Permanent happiness is hiding in presence of these small happiness. What is that small happiness? Eating the pasta. So I have to inquire whether the pasta contains the property of happiness or not. If the pasta contains the property of happiness, forget about this journey. Leave the practice. If driving a car, new car, gives you happiness, do you see that? See that understanding. I get happiness by one set of mobile phone, so it means this contains the property of happiness. But I get stressed and the phone does not give me that happiness. It means it is not there, but still I experience that. So it is that experience which comes because of delusion, which comes because of delusion. That delusion has to be removed by understanding. So there are two parts of understanding, and that is what this master says. Your son is singing together with 50 students. You see the movement of the lips. You are sure your son is singing, but what you hear is a mixed happiness, eating pasta, having sexual pleasure, etc., etc., etc. Long list. In the presence of so many deluded events, work, effort, seeking, craving, obsession, and the mind is filled with all this. That's why not many people approach this journey of the self-discovery. Oh, if I'm not getting pleasure by eating pasta, let me eat chicken. Or if I'm not getting pleasure, let me eat something else. Or let me drive this car. Let me remarry. That nature of the mind is full of delusion. It must go. before I recognize and understand that I am of the nature of pure happiness. Are you getting it? We are proving. But now, during that process of proving, we are encountering some obstacles. What is preventing me? We have to understand what is preventing me. Second, why it is preventing me. Third, what is the way to remove that blockage, or what is the way to remove that ignorance and the delusion? And once we have that understanding, we have already reached. I need not to find the real self, because once I remove the entire blockages, prevention, whether you say delusion, we are already there. Why? Because it is already there with me. So that ignorance is present since our birth. It's a beginningless ignorance. Huh? The same example in the chorus, 50 students are singing, but I don't hear my son's voice. Master says the beginningless ignorance indeed is the sole factor of creating an deluded experience. So, the most famous example or the metaphor given by almost all the masters is rope and snake example. Dusk or dawn, where sun has not risen completely, means the light is not clear. In the dusk also the light is not clear. It's going to be now night, but it is almost evening. And I see the snake in a rope. It's purely a rope, but I see the snake. And I'm scared. So the master says that rope did not become the snake, but it appeared like a snake. The waves did not become something else than the water. See that? In the mirage, the sunlight and the sand that do not become the water because it is appearance. Also, there are two levels of a change. One change that appears, but it is not there. One change that takes place, so called, you can say, permanently. The milk to yogurt. You cannot reverse this process, but I can reverse the process from snake to the rope. Why I said so? The moment I reverse the process, snake to rope, the snake is nowhere. I am the body and mind is nowhere. What is left? Unconsciousness. Do you see that? It seems to be a little deeper. We have to prove it. We have to follow the scientific method. So-called scientific. It's a buzzword, you know. Science was not there and this master was there. See, I'm just referring him again and again. Let me repeat it. The paradoxical nature of I am. I am the body. I have a pain and I'm suffering. No, I have to earn money. I have to go for this pleasure. I have to do this. Paradoxical nature of I am. Snake. paradoxical nature of I am real self. Rope, snake. That is, I gave you the metaphor. Rope, snake. That snake is I am. So that real self is my true nature, yet it often remains unrecognized due to many obstructions. Truth is not recognized due to the presence of enough light. That enough light is consciousness. What is this obstruction? So Master says, this obstruction simply means which is preventing me from recognizing my true nature. Can I say that snake is preventing me to see the rope? Yes. In the same way, in our life, daily living, daily thinking, speaking, and acting, that snake is present in the form of a delusion, in the form of an ignorance, at the physical level, at the mental level, at the intellectual level, is causing the ignorance. Do you see how easy it is understood by the rope and the snake? The snake is not there. Body mind complex will continue to be present, but I am not the body, and the mind will not be present. See that? People make a mistake. They raise unwanted, unnecessary questions, and they fall short of awakening. Why? Because of the obstruction. The concept of obstruction or obstructions, what it does, it denies the experience of real self. Snake denies the experience of the rope and creates another experience. Two things. Understand, one thing is changing, permanent change. The other change appears, but it is not changing. That is why the entire Eastern wisdom says, you are real self. You are of the nature of peace and happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. I expand it. Patanjali says, when you empty the content of the mind, what is the third sutra? Only we need three sutras in Patanjali. Oh, those asana, but yes, asana pranayama, we need to do it. But to remove the obstruction. So in the third sutra, Master Word says, you are settled in the real self. So one is my experience of snake. One is the experience, but how come it has happened in my mind? So the master now answers with reference to the change and the unchanging. I have already explained to you the role of ignorance. First thing, it is beginningless. When I wake up in the morning and you connect to me, I will still see that you are there. That is by default. That is by the nature. You cannot destroy it. What I need to destroy, that I am as consciousness is different from you. And once that understanding is done, that experience is the water inside, the water inside one wave and the second wave and the millions of the waves of the tsunami is essentially one, but appears many. The sun reflected in 10 buckets full of water appears different, possessing a different bucket, means body, different water means the mind, but that sun is only one. This is the choiceless awareness. From how you move from choices to choiceless, unless you have only one. Do you see? And if you don't, if you have many, how can you say that I'm in the choiceless awareness? So that I am is recognized and realized and experienced as sun, not as embodied body and the mind. And that is why we need a consistent contemplation and reflection and understanding, starting from that I'm the real self, and then I have to I desire anything, any object, any event, any relationship, plus seeking happiness creates an ignorance. I am hungry. I desire food. No ignorance. So common sense is required. So we misunderstand that awakened do not have any desire, need based desire, craving based desire, need based desire, obsession based desire. Two things: craving based desire, obsession based desire, seeking happiness based desire. That is the cause of the entire impurities of the mind. It has to be understood through the intellect. Need based desire, yes. I'm feeling hungry, so let me eat it. Feeling thirsty. What happens? Yeah, Patanjali says that kind of emptiness of the mind will help you recognize and realize the real self. So those who do not understand, they say, I want something practical and pragmatic. Oh, go on doing asanas, pranayama, mantras, all the stuff. In this session, I'm saying this is useless. On Mondays and Thursdays, I will definitely say they are extremely useful. Approach is different. Oh, well, if you can reach to that state, yes, reach there. Where is the problem? What the master is pointing out here is extremely important. Uh, the room is filled with the darkness for 20 years, and you fill the darkness into the bucket and throw it out. Another 50 years passes, nothing happens. What appears true, which is darkness, can only be removed by complete the sentence. Snake that appears can only be removed by complete the sentence in your mind. I start beating the rope which appears as a snake, I start beating my stress or anxiety or reaction or seeking desire for the pleasure, nothing is going to happen. That is why nothing has happened until now. You have tried it. Didn't you try? You have tried. Oh, I married, now remarried. Married happiness, divorce happiness, remarried happiness, eating pasta happiness, eating chicken happiness, getting one car and second car, one clothes. You have tried it. So what you have done is that you are still trying to throw that darkness of the room out of the room. You are making an effort. You are frustrated in that process, but you did not reach to that state of the happiness. Think. My master used to say, I'm giving a proper word sentence to change the perspective of the mind only. So these words of wisdom coming from these masters helps our mind to remove the ignorance and our intellect to shine with that knowledge. That is only thing. We need to reflect on. I love you, honey, because of completed. I love you because I am of the nature of love. I love you because I expect love from you. One is conditional and other is unconditional. And that conditional and unconditional has to be understood in the intellect. It cannot happen outside. But when I try to do it outside, then I marry, then I divorce, and then I remarry. One example. Yeah, it looks odd in one part of the world, but it looks very easy in other part of the world. 67 years old, searching for a soulmate. I find this soulmate. Do you see the darkness? The same example of darkness I'm translating here. 67 years, I have already lost a lot of strength, physical strength. What I'm doing, I don't know exactly. I have tried many ways and then I get married. And now I'm frustrated because of that decision inside. We don't have time for contemplation because we are caught up in many snakes throughout the day. We are very busy. So, because we are busy, the mind is drawn outside. So, when the mind is drawn outside, white is drawn outside, the false eye withdraws the or takes the mind outside. But white has taken the mind outside because of the desire, craving based desire, obsession based desire, which I claim that it is a need based desire. And then we are caught up. That 67-year-old, she has a couple of 2 or 3 kids, and they say, now I'm feeling alone, so lonely. That is why, You see, first thing is the paradox of I know, I don't know. I know happiness, but I don't know the happiness. See that? Why? Because of obstruction. What is that obstruction? Two types of obstruction. One is that I see the snake, and the other is I don't know my nature. Why I don't? Because I claim I'm something else. We have to understand it clearly before we go further. So then the conditional love comes, then the attachment comes, then the desire comes, and mind is already filled with a lot of activities. I'm very busy. As remain busy, let me see what you can achieve by being busy. There's a fashion statement. I'm awfully busy. Time is money, and money is unhappiness. Time is money. Time is money, but we are timeless. Think. We have to contemplate, recognizing inner peace. Recognizing means cognition. I want to experience the peace is within me. Even my false eye says the pasta is on the table and it is giving me peace and happiness. And the best moment to experience that abundance of the happiness, when all your efforts, all your activities come to a standstill. That is why in meditation we say be comfortable, be carefree, maintain the stillness, because we want to catch that moment. I'm adding some ideas so that you can understand the future verses also. So, in that very moment, which is beyond the past, present, and the future, because effort is not there. Where there is an effort, there is a past, present, and the future. So in that very effortlessness, there is a choiceless awareness. Choiceless awareness, sun to the 10 suns in the buckets. One sun, water to the waves. But then we have to add the third one, what we are doing, rope in the snake. We are not wave. We are not the wave. We are what? We are not the clay pot, body mind, complex. We are only clay. What is that clay? Clay is consciousness. Why the master is making so much effort? We are rope, we are not snake. You see, all the four metaphors have processes our knowledge, processes our journey to the self-discovery in different ways. Why? I have to prove I'm the real self. By understanding. Even if the clay pot is not there, clay will continue. What it means, even if the body and the mind complex is not there, real self will continue. Why? I'm not the body and the mind. Then what? If I'm not the body and the mind, I don't die. I have not taken any birth. What is this? Choiceless awareness, living in a moment. And you listen to it again and again, contemplate and reflect. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. And eyes are closed. You are aware. Can there be a choiceless awareness at the same time the mind recognizes that eyes are closed? Yes, it is possible. But if you are squeezing your eyes for the sake of closing your eyes, your body will definitely move. Now the false eye has taken over. It says, oh, here I am, body and the mind. It will not understand what it means by common sense approach of closing the eyes. So eyes are closed. Even if I continue to say the eyes are closed, what is going to happen? Do you know you'll experience being comfortable? I can bet you. You're simply aware, and but for the sake of understanding, so that the intellect should settle into that knowledge, that very process is proving. Okay. Oh, that is why you say that look at the neck joint, be there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Sensation pertains to the body, and my intellect reminds me you're not the body. Even though you continue to feel the sensation, yes, comfort in the mind, yes, it's okay. What about the steadiness? Nothing can be steady in the world which is made up of not consciousness, which is made up of matter. There's body mind complex. Oh, this is what we mind recognizes. Intellect recognizes this challenge. Oh, that is which is causing the ignorance. Okay. So, but at the same time, you experience that comfort, that steadiness. We're not doing anything, we're just reflecting on it. Remember, there's a non practice. What I have to do to get rid of the 10 suns I see in the 10 buckets filled of water. Oh, I have to simply look at the sun. What it means, changing the direction. What it means, that is what is being comfortable. I can, don't say I can do it. If the mind is looking at the real self, that is enough. यदि देहं पृथक्कृत्यचिति विश्राम्य तिष्ठति अधुनैव सुखी शान्तः बन्धमुक्तो भविष्यसि. I'm just translating that verse into your experience of the self. separation of the body and the mind. How it can you do it physically? No, it has to be done mentally. Why mentally? Because it is the mind that lives in ignorance that I'm the body and the mind. So where is the ignorance in the mind? So where I have to put the knowledge in the mind? How? By the process of understanding that I'm the real self. Look at it, my friends. We're not doing anything, understanding. So yes. So that's why, sometimes I explain it being carefree, free from all the cares. So there are two elements. Who cares me? Mind. Forget about anyone cares you the most. That is also a big delusion. So I'm not going there. If you think that someone else outside cares you, forget about it. Oh, so the mind cares and how it cares. Two things. Mind cares, okay. But how it cares? Seeking happiness outside, managing stress outside. Why? Because I feel stress also comes from outside and the happiness also comes from outside. There is a third thing also. Can you find out? Mind, millions of thoughts by which mind wants to care, to secure and procure happiness. What is the third thing? In the presence of the real self, in the presence of the consciousness, in the absence of the consciousness, I can neither recognize any object which the mind is seeking. I will not be able to recognize if the mind does not have a property of the consciousness. So it's all delusion. Answer is yes. I've already explained need for the hunger, need based desire, and craving based desire. So, question comes, what should I do? The master says it's a wrong question. Then what? What I should not do? What? I'm doing nothing. Okay, you're doing nothing. Thought comes, you're doing nothing. Thought for any thought with the content of craving comes, you're doing nothing. Thought for seeking pleasure to with any object outside coming, you're not doing anything. Come on. Just do nothing. But you do nothing in the presence of consciousness. So you turned your head to the sun in the sky, not on the 10 buckets of filled water where you see the sun. You cannot find the sun there. But the sun appears. Sun fully appears there with all its glory, with all its light. And even if you can put your hand on the bucket of water, you cannot find it. Put your hand into the marriage, into the divorce, into the remarriage, or into the wealth, or into the car. You're putting your hand there. You're making it dirty. You're making an effort. The effort never comes to an end. That is why I had to be carefree. And being carefree is turning, turning complete in your head. That is the meaning. Let it come, let it go. It is something like that. You had a glimpse of the sun in the sky, and you return and you still see the sun in all the buckets. Did you get it? Still see it, yes. But now the mind is not running, it is not craving, it has nothing to do with craving based, obsession based, nothing. You experience that sense of the freedom. Knowing real self, understanding the real self is actually giving you that freedom. Not only freedom, but peace. That is why we use the word nirvana, liberation, or in other words, salvation, awakening, a long list. People use different words for different reasons. When craving based desires are dropped, the real self shines. Can I say that? Think. Snake is gone, waves are gone. Are you aware of that? That is timeless moment. That is choiceless awareness. Now, the attention of the mind is on the consciousness, on the subjective reality. I don't want to say, but I'm still saying. Your awareness is on the knower, not the known. Mm, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. One person can say Om Shanti Shanti is just a ritual. Why you are teaching? No, we are saying that I'm of the nature of the peace. What is unknown to the mind, there is also a peace, and what is known to the mind, peace is also there. But due to the ignorance, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both of palms, place it in your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. How are you, Stephen?
Good. Thank you, sir. Thanks for that lesson. It just continues and adds more to what I've been contemplating or reflecting on most recently. Um, Hopefully, I can articulate this. What I started thinking about is understanding and separating the the real self from the false I. And what I started thinking about was that the false I is not going away. It's always going to be there because it's, as you said today, it's a need based peace. And that's my understanding. And it's interesting because I went out to dinner last night and I went to a place that I had to choose between pizza and pasta. And so I'm looking at the menu and I'm like, do I want pizza? Do I want pasta? And I go, well, now I'm fighting with likes and dislikes. So I'm going through
Yes.
this contemplation and reflection. And I said, well, you know what? It's okay for me to pick and have a desire for my pizza tonight. And it's okay to give me the happiness in the handful of bites that I'm going to take of this and eat this meal. But that's all it is. Because in the end, I just satisfied the need of nourishing my body. And because that's where I'm at right now. But that is not it's bringing me happiness in the moment, but it's not bringing me long lasting happiness that the real self brings. And I had this realization that, okay, false I will always be there. So now I need to just understand that it's there and it's in the background. And as you made references today, it's where do I choose to shine the light? And if I shine the light on the real self, that's where my eternal peace, happiness, truth, and wisdom. And it was interesting because you brought up again the clay pot. And one of the things I thought about last night again was I have a clay pot. And if I drop the clay pot, it's no longer a pot, but it's still clay.
It is still clay.
And so it all started to come together, and that's what I've been thinking. So today I will continue to listen to this lesson over again and keep adding to this separation and understanding. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And yes, your expression makes it clear. We have to understand there are two types of delusion. One delusion created by my own mind, that this phone gives me happiness. For example, the phone will continue to stay. My interaction with the phone has created my own delusion. Phone will continue to stay. I will continue to live. In between, what happened? Now replace the phone with your so-called, I'm sorry to say, soulmate or whatever, whosoever is. You are aspiring or you are desiring or whatever, or you are hoping or you already have it. All those are. so, so your honey will continue to exist. Awakening does not mean that the entire world I have destroyed. No, you destroyed the ignorance, your interaction, your false eye connected with the smartphone, experiencing the false pleasure, snake, experiencing the clipper, experiencing that needs to be understood. Understanding means what? All the thoughts have gone. Mind is not now searching. It is not searching what it should not. In proving, in science, we filter out. That is why we have variables. I have done a lot of research studies, so I'm aware of those research projects. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the lesson. And yes, it is quite clear that this world will continue to be perceived as long as there are respective sense organs and the mind to process the information from these sense organs. So as long as this body-mind sense organs complex will continues to exist, the world will be perceived as it is perceived right now, regardless of whether this mind comes closer to the realization of the real self or not. But I also thought that seeking happiness outside is not only senseless, it is also harmful because it creates reiterating thoughts of desires and cravings that make me perceive the world and myself not as it is.
Beautiful.
So the mind of that is full of desires reflects the light of consciousness in such a way that I see myself as the body and the mind.
Yes.
And this quite similar to the example with the rope and the snake.
Yeah.
So I see this snake in a rope because there is absence of sufficient light, like in the example of seeing myself in as the body and the mind happens when there is insufficient awareness.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You see that that's another point you brought it, that it is senseless. When my intellect recognizes that it is senseless to pursue any pleasure seeking object, but at the same time does not mean that now I will stop, I will go, I will confine myself inside the room so world isn't, let me completely empty the mind. No, need-based desire should always be there. That you cannot get rid of this. But if you try to get rid of it, there begins the hypocrisy in the spiritual tradition. What you have done, I have not eaten the food for the last 40 days. Oh, you have saved the food for the poor. Have you given it to the poor if you have not eaten? I'm more focused on that. I'm not focused on whether you have eaten or not. That is the message of all the masters, but we take the message in a different way. And that is why regular contemplation, listening, and learning is required. Both of you have shed the light. How are you, Brandy? No, we don't hear you. You don't want to. Yes, now we hear you.
Okay. Thank you for the lesson and the meditation. During the meditation, I tried to apply the part from the lesson that I took of just turning my mind toward the real self and away from the delusion, and that was just my practice. And it was really calm and absorbed and
Yes,
yeah, good.
yes, you see that as you all say that, and I'm using the same phrase, that it is senseless to desire for pleasure outside. When my intellect recognizes completely, understands it completely, that I should not drive, I should not press the pedal when there is a red light. This is only an understanding. Nothing happens to the red light, whether you paddle it or not. So I paddle my mind again and again. Oh, I have not achieved. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, look at this couple, they are loving each other. I should also have it. You don't know when you go and take an interview, then you will come to know. But so what is covering? What is the snake? Now, can you understand what is the snake in that? Oh, that couple is so loving. There is an unconditional love. I should also have it. That is the snake. And what it takes to remove it. How are you, Terry? Terry is also thinking. Yes, what you are thinking.
Oh, I guess I was thinking, and then every time I caught myself thinking, I thought, well, stop that. because I think I wanted to have the absence of thoughts, so that I could maybe get some awareness of the real self.
Yes, yes, I am completing your sentence totally in a different way. Think that I have a craving for something outside. So when I use the word something, it may be a person, it may be honey, it may be an object or anything. So when I'm craving for something outside, from where I'm craving? In the mind. Now, majority of the people who are teaching yoga and meditation, they focus too much on controlling these thoughts, not understanding the very craving based, instead of desire, if I say craving based thought, I have to understand this craving based thought. That is the snake in between the something and me. And once you understand, then what happens? You are just, you were excited, you were hesitant, but now you have understood. The next moment it is gone. You don't need 10 years of practice of meditation to reach to that. It is gone. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So practice was good. It's like it's a reminder that to keep checking my intentions that by which I'm doing the action outside. So it's like that it's coming from a desire or it's a need base. So I
Yes,
can keep myself free from that.
yes, yes, you're right. You're right. You see that, I'm summarizing likes and dislikes, where Stephen used, and then I come to Dennis, Brandy, Terry, and you. So this is what the Gita explains. Krishna, the master, explains attachment, detachment. You're constantly thinking. So you are thinking of having a phone or a person is a desire. Don't go too far. Don't try to explain in the abstract form. So, a repeat thinking about an object which contains the craving is a desire. Krishna further said, desire fulfilled, you will become greedy. Why you will become greedy? Because that is you, honey, you give me happiness. One day the honey will slap you, and then you will know how much happiness it gives you. I'm just using the word in a different way. So don't take it otherwise. So you see how the Krishna says. So desire fulfilled, it makes me greedy. Desire not fulfilled, it makes me agitated. So I'm not looking for likes and dislikes. I'm not looking for craving based thought. I'm looking, you are responsible. You cheated me. You cheated me, really? Yes. And then what happens? So all factors together is known as the delusion. Likes and dislikes, attachment, detachment, repeated thinking, that is desire, greed, and agitation. All together is the snake in a rope. That is why it is taking a long time. So we have to go step by step. So I have to remove, we have to understand what happens, likes and dislikes, what happens, attachment, detachment, what happens with the desire, what happens with the agitation, what happens, is agitation is real or not, what happens with the greed. So once you remove, the entire snake is gone. it will never come back again. So please continue to live into that, think into that. And when someone says, oh, from where you are learning, come and join. How are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir. Sir, I am good, peace and calm.
Peace.
Nothing to ask. Thank you so much.
Very good. So please continue the journey and we will meet again on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Namaste,
Thank you.
everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.